Hi, my name's PJ. Here at MCC Welfare Services, we have a vision that no one should ever die lonely. We do this by partnering with communities to remind people that they are not alone. In this series of videos, we're working on the scenario that you've been invited somewhere to connect with others. That invitation could be formal, might be a black tie dinner, or it might be something informal. You run into a friend when you're out doing your grocery shopping and they say, let's go and have a look at this shop. However that connection opportunity comes about, we hope that these videos provide a valuable resource for you to help build and strengthen your connections with others. So what are we going to hear in this video? Well, we're going to hear some words of wisdom from Theodore Roosevelt. We'll look at the rational decision-making model. We'll look at the options for responding to an invitation. And our key message really is to always let the other person know whether you can or can't make it. And in some cases, it might be a maybe, but we want you to have a good reason behind that. So Theodore Roosevelt said, "In any moment of decision, the best thing that you can do is the right thing. The next best thing you can do is the wrong thing. And the worst thing that you can do is nothing." And that's key for us. Whenever we have an opportunity to connect with one another, the best thing that you can do is the right thing for you. But we always want to honor the other person by replying to them. So therefore, saying nothing and doing nothing is not really an option that we want to put forward when we're building connection. We want people to invite us back again. So a framework for thinking about decision making is called the rational decision making model. And it has a 7-step process. Now, if you ran into a friend at the local supermarket and they said, hey, let's grab a coffee, you're going to do this quite quickly. If you're being asked to attend, say, a formal event or a wedding where there's considerable information you may not have yet, this process might take a little bit longer before you can say yes or no to the invitation. So the 7 steps in the process. First of all, we identify the opportunity. Well, this is quite easy because someone's invited us. The next thing we need to do is gather information. Now, it might be that all the information is there. You receive an invitation, it tells you the time and the location, whether you need to bring anything. But sometimes it's someone just says, hey, what are you doing? Let's catch up. Well, what does that catch up look like for you? And what is the impact? So you need to gather a bit more information. Then once you have the information, then you analyze it. You're thinking about it. Well, someone's asking me to go somewhere, but it's going to cost a lot of money that I don't have. Well, what are my options? And that's the next step, develop options. In the case of responding to an invitation, it's really only 3. Yes, no, or maybe. And even with maybe, it's conditional. So hopefully we're going back to the person to let them know why. Then we start thinking about the options. We evaluate them. Then we decide, okay, well, what is the preferred option? And then we act on it. And it's the acting for us that is the key. It is letting the person know, it is honoring them from their invitation to say yes, no, or maybe. Well, the easiest one to deal with first is no, because if you can't go, you just let the person know. The next option is yes. With yes, the first thing you need to do is let the person know that you're accepting. But then you might need to do something else. For example, putting a calendar invite or writing it in your, you might have a pin board. You might pin the invitation up so that you remember. Or stick the invitation to a fridge, which is what some of us do. Well, what I used to do when I was receiving invitations in the post. Nowadays they come electronically. The third option is maybe. And the reason you might say maybe is because you need to gather more information. Or there might be another engagement or something that's already sitting in your mind or your calendar that you can't yet fully commit to this particular invitation. But I would suggest, if it is a maybe, then you should let the organizer know. There is one other option, and that's actually not responding at all. By not responding, it actually impacts on the organisers. Because if they're trying to plan an event with catering, for example, then it is a lot harder for them to know how many people that are attending. And you might think, oh, it's just little old me, I'll make a decision on the day. But actually, there could be implications for that. They might choose a smaller room in the venue, and then when you turn up, you're unable to attend because they're at maximum capacity. And the other thing around building connection, because we want this to be positive for everyone, is your own reputation. Because if you don't respond, then someone will say, oh, they're not interested in my opportunities. So then they won't invite you again. Even if you have to say no, then at least people remember that you took the time to honour their invitation by letting them know you couldn't come. And so next time they're running an event, then they will hopefully invite you again. Remember to always respond to invitations. As Theodore Roosevelt said, the worst thing you can do is nothing. We looked through the rational decision-making model, which really is recognizing the opportunity, gathering all your information, making an assessment of whether you can or can't go, and then letting the organizer know. So in our next video, we'll focus on intention. And that's really about your personal intention to attend the event. Now, we recognize that sometimes things happen and you can't go at the last minute, but really when you know yourself, then you know whether you can say yes or whether you should say yes to a particular invitation to connect. So until next time, we hope that you're safe, you're enjoying these video series. Always send us feedback because we love hearing from you. See you next time.